Now then people, today's video is a super exciting one. I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to turn vegetables into meat. Yes, that's right, vegetables into meat. Can that be done? I don't think it can be done. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. I will be showing you how to make cauliflower buffalo wings instead of chicken wings, chicken biryani made with mushrooms, crispy chili tofu instead of crispy chili beef, jackfruit brisket stew instead of the beef, and a steak sandwich that is made entirely from plants. I cannot believe it. This is going to be incredible. Let's get into it. This is one of our favorite recipes at the Bosch HQ. My fiance MJ absolutely loves this. This is our buffalo cauliflower wings. In fact, we got told that this was better than the original chicken wings, even by a meat eater, because it doesn't have like the bone in there and all of that stuff. It's just made from cauliflower. So first up, we're going to make a batter. To make this batter, you want to combine some spices with some flour, pinch of salt, and then some dairy-free milk, and whisk that all together. Make sure there's absolutely no lumps in there. Now we've got spices and flavors aplenty going through that batter, so that's going to make this cauliflower floret. That's right, cauliflower instead of chicken. You heard me right. That's going to make that taste really, really, really good. And then, of course, we want to coat it in some crispy breadcrumbs. We're using panko breadcrumbs. We've got the Bosch panko breadcrumbs if you want to buy some of them, but you can use any, and then pop that in the oven for about 20 minutes. Next up, we're gonna make our hot sauce. Now this bit is incredible, right? So we are essentially adding heat in the form of Frank's hot sauce, and in this instance, you do have to get Frank's. We're not sponsored by them, it's just the best one. We like to combine that with a bit of melted dairy-free butter to give it that real lovely mouthfeel and unctuousness. And then pour that hot sauce all over those little cauliflower wings that have been baked. Oh my goodness, don't they look good already? You could just eat that. Toss those around with a fork, make sure that everything is well covered in that gorgeous sauce, and then pop that back in the oven. Now, next up, we're gonna make a ranch dressing. This is proper traditional when you're making cauliflower wings. You need to have a ranch alongside. And it's a really nice thing because it's gonna cool down the heat of those wings. Now what we're doing is we're literally blending cashews and dairy-free milk in order to make a cream. You wouldn't believe that it works. It's hard to believe that you can make a cream that looks like that out of cashew nuts and a few more ingredients, but you can. And to make a ranch, we're gonna add some chopped chives and some freshly cut parsley. Stir that through. That's gonna give you those lovely green pops of color, that lovely fresh flavor, and that is your ranch dressing done. Now we've got our wings, they are ready. They're nice and crispy on the outside. You might have to give them a little longer to make sure they're nice and crispy. Do keep an eye on them. And these look wonderful. These are the perfect replacement for chicken wings. These are the perfect party food, the perfect way to get kids to eat cauliflower if you're so inclined. Dip that in your ranch dressing, eat that. Try not to get it on your fingers if you can. And that is an incredible dish, the cauliflower buffalo wings, better than a chicken wing. Next up, we've got biryani. This is a mushroom biryani, but essentially we're turning these mushrooms into chicken strips, okay? So we're gonna be using a special kind of mushroom that I'll tell you about in a minute. But first up, let's keep an eye on how that biryani looks. Doesn't that look good? Incredible. Not only is this delicious, it's a super fast recipe. We're gonna cook this in just 30 minutes. So king oyster mushrooms, these are a very speciality mushroom that you can get at any good supermarket nowadays. If you can't find them, then go for shiitake or even button would do. But with these ones especially, we're gonna pull them apart with our fingers. It's a really cool technique taught to us by a guy called Derek Sarno to shred that mushroom and turn it into these chicken pieces. Now we'll start with our biryani. So first up, we want some sauteed onions. Pop those finely chopped onions into a pan and just let them soften, and then we'll add our mushroom pieces. And you can start to see we're telling the story of the chicken with those mushroom shapes. They do look like slices of chicken, don't they? Garlic, ginger, going into that pan to give us those lovely, authentic Indian curry flavors, followed by some color and flavor in the form of cumin, turmeric, garam masala, and chili powder. Wow, I mean, your kitchen's gonna smell absolutely fantastic after you put that thing together. A splash of water is important as you go to make sure those spices don't burn and that the bits of mushroom don't stick. And then to make this healthy, you know, because this is a super healthy dish right here, we're gonna add some poi lentils. High in loads of vitamins and nutrients, also really high in fiber and protein, and there's more protein in the form of peas. You know, they look colourful, they look delicious, they're kind of traditional, and now we're gonna go in with some cooked brown rice. We prefer to use brown in this kind of context because, you know, it tastes really good, it tastes rich, but it's also really good for you, higher in fibre again. All in all, making this a healthy dish. Stir that together, and pretty much we're done here. Now you're just gonna dress it and make this biryani look a little bit more sexy. Some coriander going on top, some spring onions. You could pop some chili flakes if you fancied, maybe some kind of extra spice just to dust everything off together. Crispy onions would go great on top here too. Really, this is the point when you get to freestyle and make your dish look as good as you can. This works incredible as a side dish, so I would probably cook this alongside our Rogan Bosch curry, or maybe our jalfrezi, all available on our website. You could eat this on its own if you prefer. So if you're doing that, absolutely pop some extra things on top, a bit of lettuce, a bit of tomatoes, a bit of vegan raita goes down a treat. And look at that, an incredible dish where we have turned the humble mushroom into something that resembles chicken. Because we're plant-based. That's what we do, baby. Now guys, do let us know what you think of this recipe and these recipes down in the comments below. If you're not subscribed already, then please do. We make videos like this basically every single day, and I'm gonna show you another way now. We have next up our crispy chili tofu. Many of you will already know the crispy chili tofu. This is one of our most famous recipes. We're essentially making crispy chili beef here. So this recipe was inspired by crispy chili beef, one of our favorites, one of our takeaway favorites. You know, when you get those lovely little nuggets and they're fried and they're covered in that gorgeous flavor. Well, that's what we're doing here, but we're doing it with tofu. So this is an absolutely perfect way to make tofu delicious, crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and absolutely covered in an amazing, delicious syrupy sauce. First up, you're gonna toss that tofu in corn flour, as we've just done. That's all you had to do with that tofu. But what you wanna do next is get that oil super hot. Bubbles are gonna appear on your spoon when you pop it in and it's the right heat. And next up, add your little strips of tofu coated in corn flour. You're gonna wanna cook these until they start to brown just a little bit, might be about 10 minutes. They should be really crispy on the outside before you take them out. And now you just leave them to one side. Next up, we're gonna make our delicious sauce. First up, we're gonna hit the acidity. We've got lemon, we've got orange juice, and then sweetness in the form of sweet chili sauce, also bringing that fire. Soy sauce is gonna add a lovely seasoning and color to the whole thing. And then some sriracha is gonna add another level of heat to this sauce. Now that is already looking gorgeous, but you're gonna simmer it down until it really becomes super syrupy, super sticky. And that's where we get the kind of stickiness of the crispy chili tofu from. Now all you've gotta do to finish this dish is turn those strips over around carefully, being careful not to break them, in that hot syrupy sauce, and you have something which is absolutely wonderful. Hot, sticky, crunchy on the outside, gorgeously fluffy and soft on the inside, perfectly cooked tofu. Lay that on a bed of freshly cooked white rice, and that is a dish to die for. We'll make it look just a little bit prettier by topping it off with some spring onion. Just pop that over the top. You could also use some sesame seeds if you like. That's gonna add kind of little visual bits of interest to this dish, because after all, first of all, you eat with your eyes, so you want to make something look really, really pretty. And that is a beautiful dish. Many of you have cooked it already, and we just made tofu into beef. No animals harmed in the making of this dish. What a delicious thing. Now it's time to enter the hearty, warming part of this video, a jackfruit brisket stew. So we are replacing beef with jackfruit for this dish, and we've also thrown in some meaty mushrooms for good measure. This is a hearty, warming, delicious stew. It's Moorish, it's unctuous, it's absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna show you how to make it. First off, we're gonna start with some stock cubes. We've gone for vegetable stock here because obviously we're completely plant-based. Add a little bit of olive oil and red onion and let that soften down, and that's gonna form the base of our stew. Some celery and carrot are going in, and for this one we're gonna leave our carrot in rounds because it's gonna be quite nice to bite onto it. Of course, this is a stew, so we have to add some garlic to give that wonderful garlicky flavor. We've gone for 4 cloves. some tomato puree, some barbecue sauce, some yeast extract are gonna form a lovely layering of flavors which are gonna taste umami, they're gonna taste meaty. And the final layer we're gonna add is vegan red wine. If you let that simmer away, let that alcohol dissipate, it's gonna add a lovely, acidic, rich flavor. Jackfruit goes in, so jackfruit is, we can get it in tins nowadays, go for the young green jackfruit, and some mushrooms, and both of those things are gonna replace the kind of meaty texture, the meaty mouthfeel that you'd normally get from a kind of pork or lamb or beef. Into this dish we are adding some sweet cherry tomatoes in a tin. They're always nicer if you get the cherry tomatoes in a tin, they're that little bit sweeter. Some thyme, a bay leaf, and this is already a wonderful looking thing, but to add to that stew, we're gonna add some veg stock. It's gonna add even more flavor. I mean, just think how much flavor has gone into this dish. All those herbs, all those spices, all those seasonings. Simmer that down, let that water evaporate. All those flavors are gonna make friends come together into an absolutely gorgeous stew. Of course, we have to serve that with mashed potato. So very simply, we've boiled some potatoes, add a touch of dairy-free butter, dairy-free milk, mash it all together with a potato masher, touch of salt and pepper, spring onions, parsley, and you are in an absolutely wonderful place. I mean, I'm hungry just watching this video. Hopefully you are too. This is a gorgeous thing. This is our brisket stew and mashed potato. Now it's time to serve up, and look at what a wonderful thing that is. Now guys, do let us know down in the comments if you're enjoying these new videos. This is our new series of videos on Bosh TV where we present you lots of new exciting things all together. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and do subscribe if you're not already. And by the way, please do let us know if you cook these things. We love to get tagged over on our Instagram when you send us your pictures. It's a really cool thing, and we like to share. We share those as well. So do hit us up on Instagram. Oh man, that dish just looks incredible. Perfect for a hearty winter's night. Sat in front of Netflix, watching a movie, snuggling up. Maybe you're gonna pull a rug up over you or something like that. This is the kind of thing you want to be eating. Perfect. There you have it, our wonderful mushroom brisket stew with jackfruit and mushrooms forming the meat. Finally, we're gonna show you how to make a steak sandwich. That's right, this is the most exciting bit of the whole video. We're making a steak from plants. It makes no sense, but it's true. And look at just how meaty that steak is. It's absolutely bonkers. We've combined that with some wonderful things we're gonna talk you through. I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing to eat, but in a good way. Now, first off, we're gonna make the steak. So we're gonna add chickpeas, mustard, paprika, nooch, or nutritional yeast. You can use the Bosh one, you can use another one, garlic, tomato puree, and some cooked beetroot and beetroot juice. That's gonna add a lovely color and flavor, and whiz that all together in a blender. That's gonna form a wet mix with which we're gonna make our steak. And do taste this as you go, because this is gonna be adding most of the flavor to your steak. So give it a little taste, check you're happy, more salt if you need. Now, Vital Wheat gluten is the secret sauce here. This is gluten protein. It's super high in protein. It is gonna help you form essentially a meaty, steaky dough. And then we're just gonna beat that, knead that for about 4 or 5 minutes, really be quite rough with it, and you'll feel it firms up in your hands, the flour will all incorporate, and you've got something which is essentially a super high protein steak dough. Now, press your fingers and form that into steaky shapes, and that is essentially the work done. We're gonna first of all pre-cook these, and you can do that by either steaming it for about 10 minutes or simmering it for the same amount of time. Now the steaks are cooked, we are going to make a quick marinade. Paprika, maple syrup, tamari are the perfect things. They're rich, they're umami, they taste meaty, they look brown, so we're getting the right color there, and just toss those steaks in that lovely marinade. Now you could leave them in there for about 20 minutes or overnight if you prefer. And finally, we'll just pan fry those bad boy steaks just as you would a steak, about 3, 4, 5 minutes each side, being careful not to like overly darken the outsides. You want to be on a kind of medium to medium high heat so the inside gets cooked too, and that is a beautiful looking thing. If you like, you could slice that steak up, or you could just have it as it is. Now time to layer up your sandwich. So we're gonna go for a classic combination of a mustard mayo, lettuce, and steak, and some pickles as well. They're gonna go great on top, and that will finish off our absolutely banging steak sandwich. So pleased with that, so happy with that. This is the perfect thing to eat really any time of year. It would go well at Christmas, it would go well in autumn, it would go well in, you know what, you can eat that in summer too. Perfect to enjoy all year round. We just made a steak sandwich out of purely vegetables. That's right, it's bonkers, it looks incredible, and it truly, truly is. Hope you've loved this video. Do let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you enjoyed this? What other steaky, meaty, plant-based dishes do you like to cook? And we will see you in the next video. Peace!